guys, Shay here, uneven balance, hope you guys are well. So yeah, just another quick video, this time on Stephen Smith. He's announced that he won't be participating in this year's BBL tournament, and he copped a bit of shit for this, so I wanted to just kind of defend him a little bit. I mean, Stephen Smith of all people, I'm a fairly hardcore England fan, and I'm defending Stephen Smith, but my challenge about objectivity, I want to stay objective, and if I don't like something, no matter who you play for, I will call you on it. That's what I'm about. So, Stephen Smith, there's been some comments on the fact that he gets paid, I think his BBL contract's around 150k, 200k, and his IPL contract's around 1.5 million. Listen, it doesn't matter. He is heading into a really, really mentally, it will be mentally draining and tough, fierce competitive series against India. India won just 2 years ago in Australia. Stephen Smith obviously wasn't there. I'm sure he feels very guilty about that. Obviously, him and Warner weren't available. India turned them over. He's looking to right some wrongs. Obviously, the likes of Labaskakni wasn't there either. Smith's there, Warner's there now. Australia going to be a lot more competitive, but I don't want to get into the preview for that series. Don't obviously do it at a later date. But my point is, he wants to get himself ready for that tournament. Sorry, for that series. Now, in regards to the bubble, obviously the effect it's had, a lot of people come out recently, Sam Curran, Jofra Archer in particular, they're literally counting the days down. I mean, I think literally Jofra Archer is counting the days down to leaving the bubble. Now, he spent, I think, a lot more time than most players in these bubbles. He's had very little downtime, even with his little misdemeanor that he had, didn't he? His little side trip. I was going to say side piece then. Side piece, but I meant side trip. I didn't mean side trip to to Brighton. So yeah. So anyway, sorry. So he spent a lot of time in the bubble. So he's obviously feeling it, and Stephen Smith obviously hasn't spent as much time. Obviously played against England in England, and he saw from there straight to UAE to play for Rajasthan. I mean, obviously Archer played in the test bubble for England against West Indies, then Pakistan, then obviously the ODI stuff, white ball stuff against Australia, and now he's playing obviously IPL. I don't think he's playing BBL this year. He's played before for the Hobart Hurricanes, but he's not playing this year as far as I'm aware for the Hurricanes. But anyway, so yeah, we've got obviously Stephen Smith saying about the bubbles while he's feeling it. Now, listen, I mean, he's married as well. Jofra Archer's not married. Stephen Smith's married. I consider Jofra Archer, I'm not just comparing him, but he's been vocal about it recently. That's why I'm using him as a comparison. Stephen Smith obviously is feeling he's feeling it now. He wants to go home and just get some rest before the huge series against India comes up. It's not just about money. I think just to say, because he gets paid a lot less, it's bollocks. Because he's getting paid, 7 times less, whatever it is, for the BBL. I really don't think it's about money. When you've got so much money as Stephen Smith, with his CA contracts, endorsements, his sponsorships, his IPL gig, he's not gonna. I think at a certain point, you got to remember it's not about money anymore. I mean, listen, when you're younger, in your teens and your early 20s, when you're making your way through, yeah, I think money is a big part of it. But when you select Stephen Smith, former Australian captain, probably arguably the best batsman in the world, very much definitely the best test batsman in the world, that's for sure. You could say, okay, well, is it all about money anymore? I don't think it is. I think for him, especially with Stephen Smith, I think it's about legacy, performances, and he's winning for him now. After what happened to him a couple of years ago, I just think he's 31 years old now. It's not just about money anymore. To say that it's down to money that he's pulled out is a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. From his standing, I think he probably does need a rest. I think it's the right thing to do. I think he needs to kind of get some downtime before the series starts against India. So as with Indian players, I mean, there's not much respite, is there? The tournament ends, and a couple of weeks later, I think they go off, don't they? Fly off to Australia, I believe. So I just side with Stephen Smith on this thing. I'm trying to tie this video into the whole bubble situation, because people have come out recently and talked about the fact that it's quite hard going now. I mean, I know Phil Simmons came out and said that the West Indian players won't have that much of an issue. I think that there is more of financial elements of things. I think some of those players there, they really need to be there and available for the West Indies, because they need to make sure they're earning, obviously. From some of the comments that came out when people who didn't travel to England, for example, like Fabian Allen. I'm pretty sure it's Fabian. It was Akimo Paul. So Akimo Paul, who says a breadwinner's family, is worried he couldn't provide for his family, doesn't earn, but he just couldn't risk it. Well, the reason why he didn't risk it is because he's the only breadwinner in his family. So, these things are more important to certain players, and that's absolutely understandable. But like I said, that's maybe why it's more palatable to go in the bubble, no matter how frustrating and depressing it might seem at times. So I can really empathise with these players. I mean, it's not, you got to remember these. I think sometimes all across all sports, we kind of look at these sportsmen, these sports people, as just like robots. They're not. They're human beings. They've got families, got kids, got loved ones to get back to. They think and feel just like us, regular people on the street. Because they play sport in front of a camera, as opposed to us who play on the local park, it doesn't really matter. They were born with an ability and they've done well for it. Great for them, but they still ultimately start off just like us, and they are hard just like us. So they have the same feelings and emotions, and they're gonna get sad and lonely and a bit depressed at times if you're away from your loved ones for a certain amount of time. Especially the way they're kind of enclosed in these bubbles, swimming pool and gym and all that stuff aside, that stuff would just get lame after a while. It just gets tiresome, and quite samey. So it's gonna get repetitive and a bit boring, isn't it? So I can see why these players is kind of looking to escape and get back to normality, whatever normality is anyway, isn't it? Because I mean, in here, wherever you're listening from, but here in the UK, we're heading for another lockdown pretty much in a couple of days. So. But that being said, you still do a little bit, still see different people, so see your loved ones again. So I do think that Smith's done the right thing. I just think I'll always comment on this. You might not like these videos. If you don't, fair enough. You can switch off now if you haven't switched off already. But I'll always comment on, like, if I see like a fair sized grouping who will have a go at certain players or teams for certain reasons which I think are preposterous, then I'll do a video about it if I want to. I think this warrants it. It's not just about money. These people pulling out certain tournaments. You've got to understand that these people need to be, their mental well-being needs to be looked after. It's very important. That's been spoken about as well recently, hasn't it, by Owen Morgan. It's important that their mental well-being is protected, especially in the modern game, because so much come out over the last 5-10 years on anxiety and mental health being such an important factor in cricket. So, but anyway, I won't waffle on too much more. If you enjoyed the content, please do like the video, like, share and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you on the next one. Alright guys, cheers.